He was the one man I should have never fallen for, but when his eyes lingered just a moment too long, everything I believed started to unravel. Hi, welcome to Intimate Whispers T.V. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment your thoughts in comment section. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling while the wind pressed against the window like a warning. My thoughts kept circling back to Vincent. The way his voice had dropped when he said my name. The way his fingers lingered at the edge of a line we both shouldn't have crossed. I tried to rationalize it, to convince myself it didn't mean anything. But the flutter in my chest wouldn't stop. I wasn't used to being noticed like that, especially not by someone like him. The next morning, we acted normal. Almost too normal. He barely looked at me during breakfast, and I pretended not to care. But I could feel it in the room, that tension simmering just beneath the surface, like a kettle about to boil over. Rebecca chatted away, talking about wedding themes and guest lists, while I stirred my coffee with shaking hands. Vincent's hand brushed against mine when we both reached for the sugar. Just a touch. But it was enough to send 1,000 thoughts racing through me. That afternoon, I escaped to the backyard with a sketch pad I hadn't used in months. Drawing was my way of disappearing. Of retreating from everything that felt too loud or too heavy. I sat beneath the old oak tree and let my pencil move, not even noticing what I was sketching until I looked down and realized, it was him. His profile. His jawline. The slope of his shoulders. I hated myself for it. Is that me? His voice came from behind. I jumped, slamming the pad shut. You scared me. Sorry, he said softly, walking closer. I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help noticing. I looked away. I draw people sometimes. It doesn't mean anything. He sat down beside me, too close. Doesn't it? I couldn't answer. My throat felt tight. You're not like her, he said after a moment. You're quiet, but you see things. You feel things. I'm not trying to be, I whispered. I know. That's what makes it dangerous. The silence between us felt like an earthquake, full of cracks and aftershocks. My heart beat louder than the birdsong above us. He looked down at my hands. You're shaking. I know. I should go, he said, but he didn't move. You should, I whispered, but I didn't want him to. He reached over, his fingers gently grazing mine. No one could see us. The house was far enough away. The moment was quiet enough to hide in. And then he leaned in. Not a kiss. Not yet. Just a moment where our faces were inches apart, breaths shared, eyes locked. I felt every inch of my body scream to run, and yet I didn't. His hand cupped my cheek, warm and steady. I closed my eyes. Vincent, I breathed. But before anything more could happen, we heard a voice calling from inside the house. Lillian. It was Rebecca. We jumped apart. He stood up quickly, brushing off his jeans. I closed the sketchbook and pressed it to my chest like it could hide the truth. She can't ever know, I said, my voice trembling. He looked at me for a long moment. I know. We didn't speak the rest of the day. We didn't need to. Everything had changed. Over the next few days, the atmosphere thickened with unspoken words and stolen glances. I tried to focus on helping Rebecca prepare for the wedding. I smiled when she showed me her dress, cried with her during the fitting, and told her she was the luckiest girl in the world. All the while, my heart ached with guilt and confusion. I hated myself for what I was feeling. For what I knew he was feeling too. The worst part. I couldn't stop it. One night, just days before the wedding, we found ourselves alone again. The power had gone out, again, and everyone else was asleep. I was in the kitchen lighting candles when he appeared behind me. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, voice low. I turned, every nerve in my body awake. "Don't." "I've tried," he said. "Believe me." I thought this was just curiosity, just a mistake. "But it's more than that. I feel something when I'm around you. Something I've never felt with anyone else." I shook my head. "This is wrong. You're marrying my sister." His eyes searched mine. "I know. And that should stop me. It really should. But the way you look at me, the way I feel when you're near. Lillian, I don't know how to walk away from that. I'm not the kind of girl you ruin your life over," I said. "You're the kind of girl who makes me question everything I thought I wanted." That night, the storm outside mirrored the one inside me. We didn't do anything. Not really. We sat close, too close. He held my hand like he needed to feel something real. I let him, even though I knew it was dangerous. In another life, maybe we would have met first. Maybe we would have had a chance. But this wasn't that life. And I couldn't be the reason everything fell apart. The day before the wedding, he found me in the garden. "I'm calling it off," he said. I froze. "What?" "I can't marry her when I'm in love with you." I felt the world spin beneath me. "No. You're confused. This is pressure. This is real," he interrupted. "And I know it's not fair. I know how wrong it looks. But I can't lie anymore." "Vincent," I said, my heart aching, "you think walking away from her is the answer? It'll destroy her. And us." He took a breath. "Then tell me you don't feel the same. Tell me this was one-sided." I couldn't. Because it wasn't. Because deep down, some part of me had fallen for him too. But love, when born in the shadows, never survives the light. "I do feel something," I whispered. "But I can't let that be the end of her happiness. We can't hurt her." His shoulders dropped. He looked like a man torn in half. "I'm sorry," I said. "But this has to stay between us. Forever." He nodded slowly. "I'll do the right thing. But you need to know, you changed me. I'll never forget you." And then he kissed my forehead. Just once. Soft. Final. The wedding went on as planned. I stood beside my sister as her maid of honor. I smiled through tears, clapped during the vows, and held her hand as she became his wife. My heart was breaking, but I knew I was doing the right thing. Sometimes love isn't about possession. Sometimes it's about letting go. I still think about him. Sometimes I sketch him late at night, my pencil tracing memories I'll never speak aloud. And when I look at Rebecca, glowing, happy, in love, I remember why I made the choice I did. I couldn't believe what I did with my sister's fiancé. But I believe even more in the woman I chose to be after. And maybe that's the real love story.